Hey everybody, it's Mr.Real Morrison, live from the Morrison Academy headquarters. Yesterday, as many of you know, we marched down or drove down to Baltimore, Maryland, where there's a lot of activity going on behind the murder of Freddie Gray and the oppression commonly felt amongst many African Americans here in America and how it's boiling over. I think most of the media and most of the attention is only down there, right? Because Freddie Gray was murdered or brought into custody a few weeks ago and murdered a couple weeks ago. And no one came down. No one made a big stink about the fact that this young African-American man at 25 years old was dragged into police custody. We saw the video where his legs were barely functioning, so we knew something was wrong, but ended up dying in police custody from a broken neck and a severed spleen. Understand that. It wasn't a gunshot this time. It wasn't a chokehold, the famous Eric Garner chokehold. He died from a broken neck and a broken spleen. But no one paid attention throughout the world to this injustice until the rioting happened, until the thugs, as our President Obama and many of you media pundits want to call them, started to loot and to riot. But that was misguided energy. Those were criminal acts, I agree. I don't condone the rioting, but as Dr. King said, rioting is the language of the oppressed. Rioting is the language of the unheard. Those riots didn't happen because people just wanted chips out of the CVS. Those riots happened because oppressed people, if you put a top on a boiling pot and you keep that top pressed down, that pot is going to burst. It is going to spill over. So many of you are focused on, and I'm a multi-millionaire real estate mogul. I totally understand the value of property. I've been doing this for 10 years as a realtor, licensed mortgage banker, as a real estate investor, and I get property. But there's no property on earth worth the value of an innocent life. So why is every question as I'm marching through the streets, every question from media, every post from our mainstream media is all about the violence, the destruction? What about the initial violence of 6 police officers? See, you say, oh, well, blacks kill blacks every day, but you guys don't riot when that happens. It's not about whites and blacks and us killing each other. It's about our police, our government, who are here to protect and serve, who swore to do so, them murdering innocent people. And then there being no arrest about it. They're on suspension with pay. So that just baffles my mind, because if 6 citizens brought in a body unconscious with a broken neck and broken spleen, and that body, that person, died 7 days later, before that 7 days of the death, all 6 citizens will be arrested until they found out what happened to this person. How their neck get broke. One of you 6 know. One of those 6 officers and many more within that police force know what happened. Why do we gotta wait weeks for a decision? That's common sense. He was healthy when they found him. He was running, so he was healthy. They have it on camera. Then all of a sudden his legs were limp. Then later on, in police custody, his neck was broke and his spleen was broke. So why are you focused on buildings? Why are you focusing on the effect of the cause? The riots wouldn't have happened if the murder didn't happen. The riots wouldn't have happened if the Department of Justice, if the mayor of Baltimore, if the governor of Maryland, and everyone in between, mainstream media, didn't look the other way. And so, I understand police have a hard job. I understand our people in uniform have a hard job. And many of them sacrifice their lives for the greater cause of our society. But there are those, we've seen it with Walter Scott being shot in the back. We've seen it with Eric Garner. We've seen it with Mike Brown being shot in the head needlessly. He had to be shot in the head. And now we see it with Freddie Gray. We've seen it with Oscar Grant. We've seen it with Alpha Wright. We've seen it with Trayvon Martin, so many, that was the police, but still, so many injustices, but yet we turn the eye and we're We never want to point the finger at the police. They're human too. We've seen from actual emails from officials in Ferguson how they called our president the commander-in-chief of our nation. They called him a chimpanzee. They mocked our first lady, more or less the queen of America. They mocked her on government emails. And all this oppression, all this systemic injustices, all this is part of the system. It's all part of the government system that views black people in a different way than it views everyone else. And that's facts. How many people have to be murdered for us to believe this? It's the same government, the same policing that beat people down in Selma, that put police dogs on innocent black protesters. The same government that overseen the slaves as slavery was legal, and those police catchers who are now police officers, slave catchers who are now police officers, it's that same system who are tracking us down. It's in the root of the system. It's not a racist thing. If you've seen our supporters yesterday, there were just as many white supporters and other nationalities as there were blacks because they all know it's right. What I'm saying is right, and the oppression is wrong. Black people's experience in America is crazy. Y'all just don't get it. And you don't pay attention. You didn't pay attention during Rodney King, right? Until they went and rioted. You had Rodney King on tape, and y'all still let him go. Until they rioted. It's called civil disobedience. Yes, rioting is a higher level of civil disobedience. And I agree we want peace. I get that. Guess what? I want freedom. I want my people whose ancestors were enslaved and then unenslaved, but never free from the American government. I want African Americans, the descendants of African slaves, to be free, to be an independent people. I want us to get restitution for the hate crimes and humanitarian violations against our people. I want us to get reparations. I want us to get repair. I want us to get territory. The same way the Jews in Germany got $1.5 billion a date. The same way the Native Americans got territory and reparations from America. The same way the Japanese Americans got reparations from America. Why did blacks get zero for a 300-year Holocaust? That shows you the level of disdain for African Americans. Why did it take till 2008 for Congress to apologize for slavery? It took 150 years to apologize for the most heinous act for a 300-year Holocaust? Seriously, folks? It's the system. Can you not see that system from the top, it trickles down from the head of the government all the way down to its police officers who touch the streets? And so it's so offensive for you to consistently talk about property and rioting and looting and thugs and not talk about the 6 police thugs who know what happened to the murder of an innocent man. Why are you not calling them thugs? Why is the focus not on why in our great country, after Eric Garner already happened, they know it just happened, they know Mike Brown happened, and the cops still didn't care. They know Walter Scott just got shot in the back weeks prior, and they still killed Freddie Gray. Think about that. Walter Scott was just national news. A police officer on tape shooting a man in the back. And then Baltimore still does their... You know why? It's a system. It's habits. It's poison. It's poisonous habits. They can't help it. I've been in Baltimore. I've been arrested in Baltimore. I lived in Baltimore. They are aggressive towards black people. They are aggressive in minority communities. Guess what? All police are aggressive in minority communities. They created stop and frisk in New York for minority communities. Y'all treating us foul. But I don't want to sit here and just cry for justice. Freddie Gray's murder and murderers need to be brought to justice. Yes. Same as Walter Scott. Same as every other injustice out there. Same as any black on black crime. Justice, period. But I'm talking about, and the message we got to be focused on as Americans, as global citizens, no matter if you're white, black, or any different, what we got to be focused on is freedom. Our message is getting too distracted. We're talking about the peace, stop the violence. No. Our message, YMC Community Coalition, and those who understand the moment at hand, while all the eyes and cameras are on us and all the attention continuously around since Ferguson, the destruction or oppression of African American people, this mass genocide, you're killing our people. You're incarcerating our people. Mass incarceration is about freedom for black people. And you say, wait. How can you guys want to be free? Why shouldn't the people want to be free? Every nation of people in America came here on their own, except for African Americans. We were the ones that were conquered, captured, and kidnapped. And then we were unenslaved after 300 years of slavery, after 300 years of not being able to own properties, of 300 years of being illegal to read and write. You're mad that our reading level scores are bad now for our youth. Well, shoot, they come from generations that couldn't read and write. We have a lot to make up for. Think about it, with no repair aid from our government, no restitution from our government, no reparations from our government. The same ones here to oversee us, our authority. So yes, we were unenslaved in 1865. We were unenslaved. But that same government that captured us, that kidnapped us, that conquered us, and brought us here, they never gave us independence. To be free to build a business, to be free to have a family, to be free to be a citizen under the authority of your kidnappers does not make you free. That's for all of us. I want all of our brothers and sisters of all ages, races, religions, creeds to stand with us, the YMC Community Coalition. As we march in Baltimore, we're going down here this Friday. I'm doing a call to action. Please follow my Instagram or Twitter at Mr.Real or our Facebook fan page, J Morrison fan page, And I'm making the bold statement and the bold actions, and I'm leading by example, and I'm making sure our message is on the right tone, of the right rhetoric, and has the right focus. Our message is just not justice. I don't want civil rights. You should already be civil. I want human rights, and I want freedom for black people from the authority of the American government, who still oppresses them, facts, who's still allowing these murders to happen, facts, who's still mass incarcerating people, making them work in prison for pennies a day, for corporations, slave labor, the new Jim Crow. And I just want freedom for our people. I'm not saying burn American flag. I'm not saying we can't have dual citizenship. I'm not saying any of that. I want the Republic of New Africa. I want territory for African Americans and for us to be able to govern ourselves as a self-determined, independent people. That's only fair. Give us the right to be here. For those of us who want to be here under this system, let them choose to be here under this system. I don't want to be here under this system. We didn't choose to be here. We were forced to be here. We're the only, think about it, the only people outside of Native Americans who were conquered here in America. We're the only people brought to this country forcefully and never released for our own independence. That's facts. I don't care if you're white, black, and different. You should not disagree with that. That's facts. And if you were Irish Americans or Italian Americans and you were conquered and then you were brought here forcefully and then only released under the same people that brought you here forcefully, under their authority, you want freedom too. If you're a Russian American, if you were any other kind of American, you want freedom too if that was your situation. The Japanese Americans, when we put them in endearment camps or internment camps during World War II, they wanted freedom from those camps that we kept them in. And they got reparations for the fact that we put them in those camps as well, after we released them. So everyone came here on their own except for us, and I want freedom. Understand that message crystal clear. Injustice for Freddie Gray and every other act of genocide, human rights violations against my people, oppression against my people. Please stop calling us thugs for when we lash out to thugs murdering our people. Seriously, you always put the focus on a person that does the second action, but you never talk about the first action. It's like blacks were wrong for running away from slavery, but you had us in slavery. So we were wrong. We broke the law when we escaped from our slave masters. We were bad black boys. We were bad. But slavery was bad. That was our running away was the effect of the cause of being in slavery. The looting and rioting is only effect of the cause, of the actions of a whole police department that has allowed a murder to go on for the last few weeks with no one arrested. And I'm a Christian. I'm about love. I'm about peace. But I'm also about righteousness. I'm about justice. And you have to fight for what you want. You have to fight for what you believe in. And we can't allow ourselves as global citizens of all colors. You guys can't sit back and watch African Americans be oppressed in this country any longer. You know it. Look at the history. We brush it under the rug, and Jamie Foxx makes movies about it, and everyone else makes slavery movies about it. That stuff was real, man. Our people were here as property for 300 years. Only 150 years ago. And right after that, the KKK started lynching us and burning us and running us off the land. And we had Jim Crow and the Black Code. And they wouldn't loan to us in the banks. And it was still hard to have businesses. And we were just catching up on reading and writing. And so much more. Think about that experience of getting no help after 300 years of slavery and oppression. No repair aid. Think about that experience. And understand why us at the YMC Coalition, Community Coalition, why we're advocating for freedom for black people. All right, I love y'all. Please share this message. This is facts. This is the truth. This is the voice of black people. J. Mr. Real Estate Morrison, YMC.